Hey guys, Katie Tate from Curly Mamas at Westlake, but today I'm coming to you from Curly Mama Spot-a-tot. And this is something that I have never done before, but I'm going to film myself cooking a recipe that you guys can use at home. So we'll be sure to share the full recipe with you as well, but you can follow along if you'd like and pause me whenever you need to. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm cooking at home, I have an Alexa device at home, but today I'm going to use my phone. I like to play music, so we're going to have a little bit of background music, and I am going to be looking at my phone to check the recipe, so I apologize in advance. So I'm making firecracker chicken today, and I'll tell you how you can make that paleo, but today I'll just be doing gluten-free. My husband eats gluten-free, and my daughter loves to talk about gluten-free. So she's 4, she has glassed with that. Anyway, so we're making firecracker chicken. So I have prepped a lot of the ingredients. In fact, you'll see my chicken, it's already in the marinade. I also already chopped my vegetables. You probably really can't see those, but we'll get to that. So today I'm gonna be cooking with chicken thighs, and usually I prefer to use breasts, but this recipe called for thighs, and I happened to have them because when I went to the grocery store, that was all that was in stock. So that's what I got, and it worked out well. So I've gone ahead and taken my 2 pounds of chicken thighs and cut those into chunks, not too small. Usually that's gonna be about 6 chicken thighs if you need to measure out from maybe a bag of chicken. It just so happened that the bag I had was about 2.5 pounds, and after I trimmed off some fat, I ended up with about 2 pounds. So I've gone ahead and done that. The marinade is actually a sauce, and I've got a little bit left over because I needed to reserve a 1/4 cup of it. But the sauce itself is 1/3 cup of gluten-free chicken broth, 4 tablespoons of gluten-free soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of dry cooking sherry, and 2 teaspoons of sesame oil. So I mixed all of that together this morning in a little Tupperware container, and then I poured all but a 1/4 cup of it into the bag where I had my chicken so that it could marinate. So that's been sitting for a while. The recipe didn't really specify a time frame that I needed to let it marinate, other than to let it marinate while I was chopping my vegetables. So mine's been marinating a little bit longer, and you can choose to do that however you like your flavor to be on your food. In terms of the vegetables that we need, I've got in this bag 1 red bell pepper, and that's chunked, 1 small onion sliced, and then 1.5 cups of sugar snap peas. So I just threw all of those together because I read ahead in my recipe and knew that I wasn't gonna need those until later, but I could mix them all in at once. So let's get started. I'm gonna be using a Crock-Pot brand Instapot, but whatever you have, this is a 6-quart one, that'll work just great for you. I've already got it plugged in, I don't have it turned on yet. But basically what we want to start out with is, of course, chunking our chicken and then combining all the sauce ingredients so that you can marinate. Reserve that 1/4 cup of sauce, which we've already done. Chop all the vegetables, which we've already done. And now we can get started. So, opening my Instapot, before I touch any of these ingredients, I am going to use hand sanitizer. I did wash my hands before I came in. And I don't know about you guys, we're working on washing hands with my 4-year-old. So we sing Go Cubs Go while she's washing her hands with soap so that she gets the palms, the backs of her hands in between her fingers. And it makes mommy really proud that she knows that song. So if you want to do happy birthday, Go Cubs Go, whatever works best in your house, do that, but make sure you're washing your hands. So my hands are clean, time to get started. I'm going to add my chicken to the inner pot of my Instapot and dump that on here. Now you guys can't see him, but Jacob Harris, our events and programs manager, is here filming with me today, and he just brought me a trash can. Thank you, Jacob. So I didn't touch the chicken, but I'm still gonna sanitize again, just in the small chance that I might have gotten some of the chicken on my hands. We wanna make sure that we are not cross-contaminating our other food. So, my phone keeps going black. That's sort of problematic for me. I probably should have set it to unlock. But anyway, we have got that in here. So, I'm going to lock the lid. Make sure that my steam release valve is turned to lock so that it does not vent out the steam. And now I'm going to turn this on to manual setting, which on this one is the beans and chili button. You may have a manual setting button. And we're gonna cook for 1 minute. Now, if you know anything about Instapots, it takes a while to build the pressure up. So we're gonna pause here and come back. All right, so now that we're back from the break, we let our chicken cook for 1 minute, and then I let the steam naturally release for 6 to 7 minutes. So now I can quick release the rest of the steam and wait for it to unlock. We also started cooking our jasmine rice while the chicken was cooking, so we'll have that ready to serve the chicken dish over the jasmine rice. All right, so we're unlocking the Instapot. And Jacob, I'm gonna give you this lid, so I'm not gonna need it for the rest of this. All right, so a couple things that we're gonna do here. First, I'm gonna stir up the chicken to make sure it looks nice. And then we're gonna add our other ingredients. And I'm gonna hopefully not lose my spatula inside the Instapot. This is trial and error, right? All right, so I'm gonna add the garlic and ginger. So with the garlic, I want 1 teaspoon, and I've got my minced garlic already. So I'm just gonna dip in here, take some of that, dump it in. Now, this recipe actually called for fresh grated ginger. I don't have that, and it's a little inconvenient, especially if I'm just gonna use it for one recipe, but what I do have is ground ginger, and it works just as well. So you wanna use 1 teaspoon of the fresh grated ginger. A little tip, I don't actually measure out a lot of my seasonings. I'm just going to sprinkle some of this into the dish. It's okay if you don't measure out your seasonings. Just do what tastes best. All right, so we're gonna add that in, stir it up, and I'm gonna hit the cancel button on my Instapot and go to the saute function and get that started going, because we still have to cook in our vegetables. All right. Adding in the vegetables now. So again, that was 1 red pepper chunked, 1 small onion sliced, and 1½ cups of sugar snap peas. Add those in. And toss that bag away. Stir those up. We want to let these cook for about 2 to 3 minutes once we get the rest of our ingredients in. So you'll remember we reserved some of the sauce. And again, that sauce was just your gluten-free chicken broth, gluten-free soy sauce, dry sherry cooking wine, and sesame oil. If you had wanted to make any part of this paleo, you could have used coconut aminos in place of the soy sauce. And then I'm actually gonna add some cornstarch to this sauce. If you wanted to make this paleo, you would have used arrowroot instead. So 2 tablespoons are going to go into the sauce. And I did not mix this ahead of time because the cornstarch can sort of clump, and I didn't want that. So we'll mix that. Our veggies are cooking in with our chicken. Go ahead and pour this in. And the last thing we're gonna add is some crushed red pepper flakes. And these are just to taste, they're optional, but this is Firecracker Chicken. So if you wanna have that nice flavor, add a lot. We'll stir that up. I can hear that this is cooking. You probably can't. Like I said, I'm playing my cooking jams. By the way, we do not own the rights to this music, but it is my favorite cooking album. It's the Delta album by Mumford & Sons. All right, so we're gonna let that cook for about 2 more minutes. Jacob is gonna go grab my jasmine rice for me. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of cleanup to do. Really, I just need to clean the container that I brought my sauce in and the spoon that I used to add the cornstarch. And most of my prep work was done at my house before I came in today, so I already cleaned up those dishes, or I left them for my husband. We don't know. So all I'll really need to clean is the Instapot, and fortunately, one of the great super convenient things about cooking in an Instapot, other than that it's a fast way of cooking, is that I really just lift this inner pot out and it's super easy to clean out. So that's helpful if you are a working mom like me, or if you are busy, like I'm sure a lot of you are, that can be super helpful. So we'll let this keep cooking while Jacob is getting that rice. And we really appreciate you guys tuning in for this pretend cooking show. We love being able to offer you some tips on healthy cooking, healthy recipes, and honestly, I just enjoy cooking because it's something that I can control during these days. This is sort of a crazy time. There's my rice. Sort of a crazy time going on right now. We can't control a lot of it, but you can control what you are feeding yourself. I personally am eating ice cream every day, and that's not gonna be good for once, you know, we do get back to normal, but I am still feeding my family healthy meals like this one. So Jacob and I are gonna try this out, and if you wanna try it out, then follow along with this video. We'll post the recipe on our social channels as well. You can follow us on Facebook, you can follow us on Instagram, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, or check out CarillianWellness.com/stayingwell. Thanks so much for joining me.